All right, hello again, pre-calculus folks. So starting the next topic here, which is on function operations. Now, there's really 5 operations we're going to be talking about, but today we're going to be talking about just kind of the basic 4: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Complete a review, so I'm going to zip through these pretty quickly on the video. Obviously, anytime you need to go back and pause and rewatch, you can write some things down as far as notes or examples. For sure, make sure and take care of your business and do that. So, going to start off with adding and subtracting. So obviously, this just combines. This involves combining like terms, right? What does a like term mean? Same exponent or exponents with the same variables, right? So make sure just that you're kind of lining things up correctly and combining things you got to do. So first example here, so you got x squared plus 3x minus 5, and we're going to add that to negative 7x plus 4. So if you write it all out, it would look like this. And again, just combine your like terms. So there's no other x squared, so the x squared just comes on down. I got 3x minus 7x, so that would be minus 4x. And then negative 5 plus 4 would be negative 1, and that's your answer, right? So if you kind of want to underline your like terms, that's never a bad idea, just so you can kind of keep it straight. And then just watch your signs. You just combine the coefficients. The exponents don't change. The variables don't change. You're just combining the coefficients. Okay. How about the second one? So now we have our subtraction problem. Now we're doing b minus c. So again, if we write it out, now, again, notice I'm using parentheses every time I do this. It's a really, 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 really good idea, especially on the subtracting ones, because that minus sign is going to get distributed. So all of those signs are going to change. So that's going to become a minus, that's going to become a minus, and that's going to become a plus, and that's going to become a minus out front too. I almost forgot about that. And then again, now we just go to combine like terms. Traditionally, we like starting with the biggest exponent. So we see we have an x to the third in that second set. So we're going to start with that. But again, we know it's a minus because it's subtracting. So negative x to the third. And now we have a couple of x squared terms. So I got 2x squared minus 3x squared. Again, that minus sign is getting distributed. So 2x squared minus 3x squared is going to be a minus x squared or minus 1x squared. Then we have the x term, so we have negative 7x, again, minus 5x. So negative 7 minus 5 more is negative 12x. And then we have the constants, so we have 1 plus 4, which will be 5. Okay, so so again, just make sure you're keeping track of your signs. If you're subtracting the whole function, you got to remember to distribute that minus sign all the way through. Okay. Go ahead and pause the video, see if you can do that third example by yourself, and then I'll go through the solution just real fast here. Okay, so again, wrote it all out. We have P minus W. Now here, again, you got to kind of watch and see where the like terms are. So I'm going to underline them in different colors. So 5x, so we got an x squared y, and here's another x squared y over here in the end. Oops, wrong one. That's xy squared, sorry about that. So 5xy squared, and I got the xy squared here. And then we got the x squared y there, and then the x squared y there. And then we have just the xy and just the xy. But remember, we also have to remember to distribute that minus sign. Okay, so that minus sign is going to hit all 3 of those guys. So my final answer, and again here the order doesn't matter as much. So we have 5xy squared minus xy squared. So that's going to be 4xy squared. And then we've got the 2x squared y plus 7x squared y. So that's going to be 9. And then lastly, the xy terms, you have negative 4xy minus xy, which would be negative 5xy. Okay? So that's adding, subtracting. Again, just watch the signs, combine like terms, and get your coefficients correct. Okay? Now for multiplying, again, this is all from algebra. This is using either box method or a version of FOIL or something like that, and just combining like terms at the end. I'm personally going to use FOIL. If you're more familiar with box method, I'll do one of those in class today. Where we can come into tutoring and we can kind of go through that. But it's the same process. You're basically multiplying each term by everything in the other equation. So we got 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 4. So again, what I mean by that is I'm taking the 3x, multiplying it by both of those things, basically distributing. And then I'm taking the negative 2 and multiplying by both of those things. The order you do them in doesn't matter, but at the end we do want to combine like terms and get everything together, okay? So let's just kind of write all this stuff out, then we'll do our final answer down below. So we got 15x squared, and then 3x times 4 is 12x. And then negative 2 times 5 is negative 10x. And then negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. And again, notice I got a couple like terms here. So I can combine those. So my final answer, 15x squared plus 2x minus 8. You might have more than 2 terms in each one, so it might be more than just the traditional FOIL or box method. So I'm going to do a couple more of these. So again, these can be a little bit longer. Okay, so here we got a 3 and a 3. So I'm going to write that out. Again, we're going to multiply each term of the first one by every term there. So we're going to do x squared times each of these things. Okay, so we got x squared times 2x squared, 2x to the fourth. Remember, when you're multiplying, you add the exponents. X squared times minus 5x, negative 5x to the third. X squared times minus 3. And I'm going to move this just up a little bit so I can have room to write my final answer. And then now we're going to take the middle term, x, and multiply by everything. So x times 2x squared. And then x times minus 5x. And then x times minus 3. And then negative 7 times everything, which would be negative 14 x squared plus 35x plus 21. Combine all those like terms. We got 3x to the fourth. We got all the x to the third. So we got negative 5 plus 2. This would be negative 3x to the third. All the x squared terms, negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Minus 14 is negative 22. All the x terms, negative 3 and 35. And then the constant on the end. Okay. Most of the ones we're going to give you are not going to be that long, but you never know what you might see on a homework assignment. So again, last one, go ahead and pause the video and take care of that one on your own. And I'm just going to write it out while you do that. And here we go. So we got 4x to the third. Again, taking 4x times everything. Oops, 20x squared. And then minus 4x. And then the 9 times everything. And then combine all your like terms. 20 plus 9, oops, 29 x squared. And then to combine the x's, that would be 41x minus 9. Okay? So that's multiplying the last one, and this is actually the easiest one of them all because we're not going to be doing any simplifying on this when we divide, but, there's a but, we do need to find the domain of this thing, because it's like we did before the last test. Anytime you have a fraction with an x in the denominator, we do need to find the domain. Okay, so again, we're not going to do any simplifying, so if you see something like a over b in this case, your function is just this. We don't, and you know, there's not much we could do, but we're not going to worry too much about simplifying these, but we do need to find the domain. So in this case, if you remember from the last section, we set the bottom not equal to 0, solve that, and then so we had x not equal to 1/5. To be technical about it, we can put the real numbers in front of there, all real numbers not equal to 1/5. Okay, and you do that each time. Okay, so just like the second example, root x plus 5 over x minus 2, that's your function, don't have to do anything. Find your domain, x not equal to 2, all real numbers except for 2. Okay, everyone likes when you get to division because there's not a whole lot to do with it. Now, you do have to be mindful of the order. So in this case here, and there's a typo here that this should actually be u over j. Sorry about that. So u over j, so we got 7x plus 2 over x squared plus 5x minus 14. And remember, in this case, we need to make sure we know how to factor the bottom so that we can find those solutions. We've already talked about that, so we're going to see what those factors are. And again, set each of those not equal to 0, not equal to -7 and +2. Okay, so those are your basic operations. Tomorrow we're going to get into compositions, which is the 5th operation we can do with functions. And then we'll start getting into inverses and all those kind of fun things. If you need some more help with this, please feel free to come to tutoring one morning. Until next time, stay safe.